tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Hello. Just got to post one more place. I hope everybody's having a good Sunday. All right. Done sharing. I'm going to restart my computer. Why not? It's probably why it's doing what it's doing. Yeah, it needs to do updates and restarts and all that. So we'll let it do its thing. Since we're not using it right now. All right. So whoever's currently not watching football will probably show up. Maybe. Hey, we got some people showing up. Oh, no. The real football doesn't start till tomorrow, till the Broncos play. So I'm going to let all the itty bitty teams play today. Yeah. I'm a Bronco fan. So, all right. But what in the hell does that have to do with page 21? Absolutely nothing. Good to see you, Kathy. Kathy is here. She is saying hello with her array of colorful hearts. And of course, this is the Daily Trudge. Welcome. If you have not been a part of the Daily Trudge before, I do things a little bit differently. I pick a topic each day. We discuss it. A lot of times I come on twice a day. They're usually about 15 to 20 minutes, or they could be up to 45 minutes long. Yeah, Packers. Yeah, we beat them in the Super Bowl. Not a problem. Is it? Yes, it's the only arguing on. This is as fart as fart. This is as far as I go arguing about football. Really, other than that, I love watching the Broncos play. I used to watch all the games, and I was really into it. And I just I enjoy watching the Bronco games, and that's good enough for me. I usually have a lot of things going on Sunday now anyway. So for me to catch all the games. Now, of course, if the Raiders are losing, I'm willing to go watch that too. So, all right. So, page 21. Page 21. We hear about this in meetings. I'm a page 21 drunk, and most of us are page 21 drunks. Okay. So let's go talk about that first, and then we'll get into homelessness. Because they do go together. Okay. In a sense. Now, when I first got into the program, the first time I got into the program, I was 18 years old. And I ended up in a place called the Phoenix Concept. And literally, I fell into the place. Literally. I was walking down the street. It was about 5 o'clock. It was really fucking cold. It was March. And I was walking down the Samaritan shelter to see if I could get myself a bed for the night. I knew it wasn't. It was going to be fucking cold. So, I had a heating vent that I used to pick out. It was my place. I did a lot of, since I was I think I got away with a lot more because I was a young white kid. Let's just call it what it was. And I was homeless in like the white suburbia areas because I would go into laundry rooms during the evenings and I would sleep in the laundry rooms because it was warm. And people didn't give me too much crap. I got kicked out a couple of times. So, all right, let's talk about page 21. But what about the real alcoholic? He may start off as a moderate drinker. He may or may not become a continuous hard drinker. But at some stage of his drinking career, he begins to lose all control of his liquor consumptions once he begins to drink. All right, I needed a little bit of talking juice. Here is a fellow who has been puzzling you, especially in his lack of control. He does absurd, incredible, tragic things while drinking. He is a real Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He is seldom mildly intoxicated. He is always more or less insanely drunk. That was me. If I wasn't drunk, I was on my way. Okay. If my eyes were open, I was drinking. Right. As soon as I got up in the morning, I go through all the bottles. See, my thing is I only got as much that I thought I should drink that night because I will black out and continue drinking. Okay. I found that out about myself and I knew that was dangerous. So that means when I got up in the morning, I didn't have any. So I was doing all that crap, right? So I'd have to say, that's kind of insane. And I knew better too. I knew better at the end there. That was not when I was. So when I was 18, got sober at 18, I had 12 years of sobriety and I relapsed. So I'm talking more towards the end of this bout of drinking. He is seldom mildly intense. His disposition while drinking resembles his normal nature, but little. He may be one of the finest fellows in the world, yet let him drink for a day and he frequently becomes disgustingly and even dangerously antisocial. What is dangerously antisocial? My thought on that. Hi, Ingrid. Good to see you. Good to see you. Why did I just get a huge. Ingrid, as soon as you said hi, God just smacked me upside the back of the head for some reason. I don't know what that was. He's trying to tell me something. I'm gonna have to be quiet and listen to that. That was weird. He has a positive genius for getting tight at exactly the wrong moment, particularly when some important decision was to be made or engagement kept. He is often perfectly sensible and well balanced considering everything except liquor. But in that respect, he is incredibly dishonest and selfish. He often possesses special abilities, skills, and aptitudes, and has a promising career ahead of him. He uses his gifts to build up a bright outlook for his family and himself, and then pulls structure down on his head by a senseless series of sprees. Here is a fellow, and then here's me again. Here he is the fellow who goes to bed so intoxicated he ought to sleep the clock around. Yet early the next morning, he searches madly for the bottle he misplaced the night before. If he can afford it, he may have liquor concealed all over his home to be certain no one gets his entire supply away from him to throw down the waste pipe. And what do we do when we throw it down the waste pipe that normies tend not to remember? Rinse that fucking thing out. You gotta rinse it. Or we will stick our tongues in there and get it out. We'll soak it up with a ear thing. Soak it up. As matters grow worse, he begins to use a combination of high-powered sedatives and liquor to quiet his nerves so he can go to work. I'm going to stop on that just for a second. Okay? Because a lot of us remember the time. Okay? And I'm talking to just alcoholics, right? You are given a sedative at some point with the taper off, and you utilize it instead to enhance your experience with alcohol. Don't tell me you didn't do it because you did. I did. We all did. So why can't we talk about drugs in AA? That's all I'm going to say. That's why I'm okay with it. We did it too. That's why. That's us too. Great. I just got a message for great overall sex wellness. Kathy is saying, I thought my best work was hungover. Kathy, you crack me up. I get that though. I get that. I'm laughing because it's me too. You know, we gotta laugh at some of the crazy stuff we've done. Why? Because you gotta grow up at some point. Okay. Do some things still hurt? Sure. Okay. Then comes a day he simply cannot make it and gets drunk all over again. Perhaps he goes to the doctor with who gives him morphine or some sedative which to taper off. Then he begins to appear at hospitals and sanitariums. This is by no means a comprehensive picture of a true alcoholic, as our behavior patterns vary. But this description should identify him roughly. Now, the thing is, did you see yourself anywhere in there while I was reading? Were you dangerously antisocial? Did you build things up and pull them down around your head? Right? We did all of these things. Maybe you didn't do some of them. There were some things in here I didn't do. I've never had a good enough job that's made the family feel like we're going to make it. Okay. Uh, I have no idea what that feeling is like because I've never experienced it. And I have 4 kids. I'm just now getting into my life, part of my life. Right. I think I want to read just a little bit more of it. Just a little bit. Why does he behave like this? If hundreds of experience have shown him that one drink means another debacle with all its attending suffering and humiliation, why is it he takes that one drink? Why can't he stay on the water wagon? What has become of the common sense and willpower that he still sometimes displays with respect to other matters? Okay? Why? Because we can't. We physically cannot do that. We don't know how. Our brains do not function like that. Okay, first we have to come to the realization that our brains aren't working the right way and that we have this disease called alcoholism, right? And so there are some other addictions, right? Like OA would be one. Um, I stay away from the NA and opiate stuff because a lot of times those people um, got involved with that because they got injured and then they were given opiates for it and then they switched to meth or heroin or whatever. Okay. But for us alcoholics, we are born with this. Period. Okay. And until you come to an agreement and make that arrestment, you will live. You'll be living a life that's just a lie. You really will. My life was it was a sham, man. I had no integrity. I treated people horribly, treated myself horribly, um, and I had to make a change. I had to make a decision that behavior was no good anymore. So, all right, enough with page 21. Now that we've convinced ourselves we're drunks, yeah, full of shame. Now, notice in that part they didn't say anything about anybody living under a bridge or being homeless. They didn't say any of that. Right? And there's reasons for that in the big book. They do start to cover it. Okay. But AA in itself will not take care of homeless. Okay. We have no say on outside issues as AA. Okay. But Dion can have one. I'm allowed to have opinions. You're allowed to have opinions. And I'm bringing this up because as you know, as a person that's been um, who's lived on the streets twice, I have a view of how this stuff works. I know what it means to be homeless. Right? Now, a lot of homeless people are not easy to get sober. I'm going to tell you why. They don't have anything else to lose. They have nothing to lose. They've given up hope. And I'm talking about the homeless people that are alcoholic. Those are the ones I'm talking about. Okay. Not everybody on the street is addicted to drugs and alcohol, guys. That's just not true. Good portion of them, yes. Hey, Paula, good to see you again today. So, when you're homeless, your whole day is determined by whether people show up, and because if people don't show up for a soup kitchen, you ain't eating. Does that make sense? Okay. If I have an appointment, oh, I have Medicaid, I have this appointment. You're downtown, your appointment's in Littleton. We do not favor the homeless, right? And now that I'm getting ready to go to work, the homeless camp is going to be one of my endeavors. Hospitals and homeless camp. Okay? They've hired me to work on those two particular things. I chose hospital because I know I could do a lot of good there. So that'll be my main, but I will also be working the homeless camp. Um, and I'm not the only one that went through this. Here we go. Yep, I was homeless as a teenager long before I was drinking regularly. Yeah. Um, and I'm not sure what happened with you, Ingrid, but I just wasn't welcome at home anymore. My parents put me in a psych ward when I was 14, and from there it just never went well again, and I would never live with my parents again. Actually, I would when I got sober when I was 18 and I got out of the Phoenix Concept. I lived with them for about 6 months, got my job as a drug and alcohol counselor, took my CAC, and moved out. It was kind of different. Before, I just wanted to fuck around. They let me stay there so I could get my shit together. I'm sorry to hear that. Is that you, Kathy, that's homeless? Okay. There's also a part in the big book, and it's in working with others. And what it says in there is that, you know, pound into the man that, hold on, give me a second here. Oh, that he can get well without anything. Okay. No job, no wife. Now, they don't say no home in there. No, notice what they're avoiding. 95% of the people in AA have never been homeless. Okay. We need to bring that number kind of up. We need to have more homeless. Right. And it's something that I believe in. Here's the thing, being homeless can become its own retrogressive groove. You do the same thing in and out, same thing every single day, right? Not only that, but you got to protect your stuff. You got to fucking watch your back, and you got to get hooked up with other people, or you won't survive. You won't. You'll die from malnutrition, or maybe it was too cold. See, we're coming back up on that now. So the way that I work this is if a man is stumbling for this or that in order to get sober, the only one I will go for is housing. I will put a roof over somebody's head before I put them into recovery. And I do that because I realize that this person's chances of getting sober have gone up now, and that's worth money to me to help them with that, right? See, I'm still not getting anything in return. I'm getting my $15 an hour, you know, but really there's no expectation. There's no expectation there. So as I get closer to working with the homeless client, I swear my dyslexia is all over. All right. It was fun earlier, but stop it. It's to stop el dyslexia. Uh, it did this says backwards and a few of the words backwards in the sentence. I don't know how I'm able to do that shit, but I can't. All right. I should have been a rapper, actually, except I can't rap. So as this gets bigger and bigger, and we're working with the homeless camp and things are getting ironed out, I'm going to be calling on all my people be joining us with this stuff. Okay. We're going to go down there. We're going to show them some love. Okay? If I have 3 other alcoholics and we go to the homeless camp, we can get 2 or 3 of them to come back with us. That's what we're doing there. We are not just going and feeding the homeless. Okay. The feeding of the homeless is for non-alcoholics. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. Obviously we should. But really what we should be doing is going around to the tables and asking people questions. How are you doing? Ask them, how did you I'm curious about your story. How did you get here? And then shut the fuck up and listen. They may not want to talk to you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. You treat those people with the utmost respect, because if I'm around and you don't, you're gonna find respect really quick, and it's gonna be my foot up your ass. Okay. When we go work with other people, they are not lower than us. They're not less than at any given point. What we're doing is we're trying to save God's children. Okay? And as one of God's children, I owe to our brotherhood and our sisterhood. I'm gonna, you know what? Let's call it humanhood. That's a good one. Oh, I no one feels offended, right? Humanhood. Well, we can all join in harmonious action. It's true. It's true. It all works. It all works. So sometimes these people aren't ready. A lot of homeless people, they're going to tell you this: I'm not willing. I love that one. Love that one. It'll shut most people down. It's a trick. I'm just not willing. I used to use it on therapists all the time. The ones that my mother would force me to see. I go to them and I'd be like, I ain't gonna tell you shit. Nothing. I don't want your help. And I'd never have to go back. I knew how to manipulate that stuff. Right? Ah. My question is, you're not willing to do what? That's my question. Because I've just asked you a question you're going to answer it to. And you might start out a little angry, but I'm going to sit there and go, yeah, I get that. By the time you're done telling it, guess what? I've met you where you're at. You can't help it. I have too much empathy. It's hard not to talk to me. Honestly, a lot of people, I tell people this, but it's true. Everybody wants a little piece of Dion. And I'm okay with that. But I got to be careful that I don't spread myself too thin, right? Sometimes red flags aren't enough. Yeah, thank you. Oh, sometimes red flags aren't red enough. Like what? Give me an example on that. I'd like to hear an example, because the way I see it is whether somebody's willing to get sober or not, that doesn't deter me. It doesn't deter me. I was in sales for so long that I've heard every rebuttal, and I don't accept them for what they are when I know the truth. Ah, got it. Relationships. Yes, ding 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 ding. Yes. Need more red flags. Well, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? Okay. I'm going to tell you something that was amazing that happened in my life. Okay? So I just broke up with another girlfriend. Okay. What was her? I don't know her name. Um, I feel like a dick because I don't remember. It'll come back to me. But we had broke up, and I was talking to my sister, and she said, "Dion, you know what? We always say your picker's broken and da da da. And you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore." And God, you guys, this was Al-Anon all the way. I knew it when she said it. It was Al-Anon, and I was drinking very heavily, right? But my sister always has these little quips that get me. And she said, "Dion, I'm not going to tell you your picker's broken. In fact, I'm going to tell you that you're going to find the right person for yourself. I am confident that you are actually going to do it the right way this time." 2 weeks later, I get a friend request from an old girlfriend. The one girl that I've only truly loved my whole life. The only girl. When I met this girl, I fell immediately in love with her. And, and she was pretty back then, not as pretty as she is today, right? And she was with me when I got sober the first time at 18. She was a big part of my recovery and my sobriety, right? And we would eventually break up, which I still feel like to this day that was a mistake. And she reached out to me, and I'm like, and I almost didn't take the friend request because I didn't want her to. I didn't want her to see me how I was. I was embarrassed, but I went ahead and accepted it. And that weekend we started talking. We spent the whole weekend on the phone. And within about a month and a half, I would move back to Colorado. I had moved to California to drink myself to death. And it's apparent that God had other plans. I was out there for a few years. Um, I was too busy working that I forgot to go partying and stuff. But you got to have money to do it. So the plan failed. And Shannon and I would get back together. And we've been together to this day. We've been together 12 years now. And um, we don't fight. We don't get jealous. She's the one person that I've loved all my life. And before I quit drinking, she would tell me, "I know the sober Dion. I know the sober Dion. I know what he does. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait for him to come back because I know if I bug you enough, you'll do it." And she was right. Yeah. So don't tell me people can't save your life. Was God working through them? You bet. But if it wasn't for the thoughtfulness of my sister, number one, I don't know that I would have accepted that friend request because I was too embarrassed. And guess what? Shannon still loved me for exactly who I was, even though I was a messed up fucking piece of shit at the time. Yeah. Just thinking about those times kind of gets me misty eyed because, and I don't get misty eyed because of what happened. I get misty eyed because I'm not that person anymore. And that makes me happy. And I tend to cry when I'm happy because it feels good. Thank you very much, Kathy. I appreciate that. We're a great couple. I've thought about bringing Shannon on and doing like a couple story, but she's too shy, man. I don't know that she would do it. Um, but I can tell you now, there's a lot of great things that come out of her mouth. Um, so, all right. I feel better. I was feeling bad because it was recovery month and we haven't even talked about the homelessness. They're included on this. Okay. Recovery month isn't just about celebrating the recovery we have. It's about showing a lot of other people at once that recovery is possible for you too. right? And it doesn't end at the month of September. September is just when we recognize things, okay? But otherwise, recovery month is every month. So, all right, that's what I got. Thank you for being here. Oh, I didn't do it last time either. I did not claim spiritual progress. Let's do that real quick. Everybody ready? Good job. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We had Kathy. We had Ingrid. We had Paula. And we had Gary at the last moment there. Good to have everybody. Thank you for being here. I love you. Peace out and have a day.